What's up, everybody? This is Fishers of Men. Today I've got another Star Wars video for you. A few days ago, a Star Wars fan site called Dork Side of the Force released an article by Jonathan Morales, I want to give proper credit where it's due, saying that if you're boycotting Solo a Star Wars story, you aren't a real Star Wars fan. In this article, he says that if you're boycotting Solo because you didn't like The Last Jedi, you aren't a real fan. Essentially, throughout the entire article, he says that we, as fans, should just be along for the ride. He says that he realizes that the franchise is greater than what his desires are for the films, and that we should realize that too. He also mentions that the fact that the EU Legends is slowly being folded back into the canon should make us excited, and all those references in Solo should make us excited. In the end, he states that we shouldn't ruin it for people like him, because they have been in love with Star Wars since A New Hope and don't want to stop loving it. Look, I disagree with this entire article, and it has made me seriously consider boycotting Episode 9. I'll start with the easiest point first. When he said that we should be happy that they're folding parts of the EU or Legends back into canon, I almost lost it. The addition of EU or Legends material shouldn't be something that we're patting Disney on the back for. I'm still mad that most of it was thrown out in the first place. Honestly, what he's saying, for me, is comparable to saying that if some video game released and then the publisher released a bunch of DLC, some of which was bad and some of which was good, not all of it made sense, whatever, and you bought it and you started playing it, but then some new publisher came in and bought the game and took away all that DLC in future game updates, that we should be happy and applaud the publisher when they slowly add back little pieces from those DLC back into the game, and we have to pay for them again. That's what it feels like. It wouldn't fly in the gaming community at all, and it shouldn't fly in the Star Wars community. I'll hit his final point now, since it's probably the second most infuriating part of the whole article. We shouldn't ruin it for people like him because they've been in love with Star Wars since A New Hope. Does he not realize that many of the people that boycotted Solo have also been in love with Star Wars since A New Hope? Look at it this way. The people who are boycotting are frustrated, and rightly so. They feel as though the story they grew up with and loved has been pulled out from under them and changed in ways that are unfathomable, in ways that really break or hurt the Star Wars universe. And they're upset, so they're voicing their opinion of Star Wars in the only way that they can, and the only way that Disney will listen, with their money. Mr. Morales says that he realizes Star Wars is bigger than his desires for the series, and if that's the case, it sounds like he'll be happy no matter what happens in Star Wars. So what's wrong with some fans boycotting for better Star Wars movies? Sounds to me like that would benefit everyone. His argument is nonsensical. See, if you liked The Last Jedi, especially if you liked it because it was just more Star Wars, and if you liked Solo, especially if you liked it just because it was more Star Wars, and if you're just a general moviegoer who just went to see it because it was out and it was popular, the odds are you're going to like whatever Star Wars movie gets released. So why in the world would you call people not fans of the movies or the franchise in general just because they don't settle for whatever garbage drips out of the corporate sludge faucet over at Disney? Now look, I like Disney. I do. I grew up with Disney. I grew up with Pixar, and which Disney owns now. I like the Marvel universe. I don't have a problem with Disney. I have a problem with what they've done to Star Wars. This brings me to his final point. We aren't real fans if we boycott. Now, I didn't boycott Solo, but I'm starting to think I should have, simply because of this article. I've been unhappy with the way Star Wars has been going, but I don't usually trust boycotts to get anything done. They often don't work, and this is because the right group of people don't usually boycott whatever they're boycotting. For a boycott to be successful, it isn't enough for people to just say, we're boycotting this, and not go see a film or buy a product or whatever. For a boycott to be successful, the people that actually buy the product or see the film or listen to the music or whatever have to be the people that are boycotting. That's why this Star Wars boycott is actually different, and you can see the results in the Solo box office. For a boycott to work, actual fans of Star Wars would have to boycott, and that's what Mr. Morales doesn't understand, and ultimately that's why his argument falls apart. Look at it this way. A few years ago, I think it was about 6, the owner of Chick-fil-A came out in support of traditional marriage over homosexual marriage. As a result of this, a lot of people said, I'm never going to eat at Chick-fil-A again. That's fine. People can do whatever they want with their money. However, a lot of the people that I knew personally that said that had never eaten at Chick-fil-A in the first place. Their boycott would have absolutely no effect. Now, if there were people that were spending $100 a month or more buying Chick-fil-A for their family or for them, and they decided to boycott, and there were thousands of these people, maybe the boycott would have done something. Maybe it would have been effective. Essentially, fans of Chick-fil-A chicken would have had to boycott Chick-fil-A for there to be any impact. The same is true here. If people that don't care about Star Wars were to boycott Star Wars, it would not be effective. Fans of Star Wars boycotting Star Wars, however, makes a huge difference. Fans are the people who spend hundreds of dollars on toys, video games, Blu-rays, collectibles, and see the movies multiple times in theaters. When people like this boycott a product or a franchise that they love, you can see the results. And that's what we're seeing now, the results. That's why everyone is throwing out excuses for why Solo failed. To say that the people who are boycotting Star Wars at this point are no longer fans is ridiculous. It's ludicrous, it's nonsensical. It's the raving of a whiny fanboy who doesn't want to admit that Star Wars is going downhill with the current leadership and doesn't want to accept current opinions that are different from his. Boycotting fans are just as much fans as this Morales guy, if not more. Because true fans, a word which is actually short for fanatics, actually care about the things they're fans of. Shocker. I'm not saying that if you aren't boycotting Star Wars at this point that you aren't a fan. I'm not like the fool that wrote this article. You need to realize that if you start insulting people that don't agree with you, they're just going to double down on their convictions. And that's what happened here. Before seeing this article, I was fine with continuing to go to Star Wars. Now, however, I'm seriously considering boycotting Episode 9 simply in hopes of a change up at Lucasfilm. So, I guess thank you, Mr. Morales, for making me realize that I care about the future of Star Wars. I'm not just along for the ride like you said that you are. Maybe you're fine with going wherever the Star Wars train takes you, but I'm not buying a ticket to some pile of garbage when I know that there are better destinations available. That's all I have for you guys today. I hope you, enjoyed my little rant. Give me a like if you agree with me. Go ahead and subscribe. Leave me a comment. Tell me what you guys think. Do you guys think we're not real fans if we boycott Star Wars? Or do you think that fans boycotting things are the actual ways that things get done? Does it sound like this guy would have enjoyed whatever Star Wars got released? And so, does it make sense to you why he's saying that we aren't fans? It doesn't to me. I'll leave a link to the article in the description so you guys can check it out if you want to. I don't recommend it. It's hot garbage. Thanks for watching. Again, this is Fishers of Men, and I will talk to you guys later.